Yeah, dear students, now in continuation of my previous video, here you will see about efficiency of a reaction turbine. This teaching material I have taken from my book, that is Thermal and Fluid Power Engineering. So let us directly go to efficiency of a reaction turbine. Yes, here it is. Efficiency of a reaction turbine. Here, dear students, we have seen in reaction turbine, first steam goes to fixed blade and then to moving blade. This is the arrangement for a reaction turbine. So first, as an input energy, that we call it kinetic energy supplied to fixed blade. So that is V1 square by 2 in fixed blade. Now in moving blade, we do not write V1. Why? Because in moving blade, with relative velocity, steam enters and it goes out with relative velocity again, and henceforth there is a difference in relative velocity, not in absolute velocity. So written Vr2 minus Vr1 upon 2 for a unit kg of steam flow. For unit kg of steam flow. So we should add both kinetic energy supplied to fixed blade and moving blade. So that's why written here total energy supplied, summation of these two. Right, now already we have seen in velocity triangle of reaction turbine that Vr2 is equal to V1, Vr2 is equal to V1, Vr2 is equal to V1. As I told you, must remember all these parameters. So Vr2, this one is equal to V2 is equal to V2. Okay, so in this way we can write from this equation velocity triangle Vr2 is equal to V1. So this total energy comes out like this. Right, now from same velocity triangle of reaction turbine we get this type of relation, and henceforth that equation is reduces as total energy supplied like this. Right, now so this is denominator part while calculating blade efficiency of a reaction turbine. Numerator part, that is work done per kg of steam. So we know already for unit kg of mass, that is U, and difference between Vw1 minus Vw2. Here again, like impulse turbine, this Vw2 is in opposite direction of V1, henceforth minus minus plus comes like V1 minus then minus Vw2, because in velocity triangle this is U, and in the same direction from here to here it is written Vw1, and in the opposite direction from tail of U it is written Vw2 like this. So Vw1 in this direction written, and minus the difference has to be there, and minus Vw2 is in opposite direction, so minus minus plus it comes over here as a plus. Right, so in this way we can write U plus Vw2 Vw1 plus Vw2 into U. right? Now this u is taken out, v1 cos alpha 1 plus vr2 cos beta 2 can be written for this total vw1 plus vw2. If you look at velocity triangle, let me draw once again. From here it was u, from here it is vw1, from here it is vw2. This is your vr1, v1, vr2, v2, and angle is, this is your beta 1, beta 2, alpha 1, alpha 2. So here v1 cos alpha 1 plus vr2 cos beta 2 minus c. This total vw1 plus vw2. Total length from here to here it is written. So we can write v1 cos alpha 1 as it is, v1 cos alpha 1, that is vw1. For this vw2, we can write vr2 cos beta 2 minus u, that is vr2 cos beta 2, that is from vr2 cos beta 2 from here to here, and then minus u, this part minus u. So vr2 cos beta 2 minus u is your vw2. So it is written u v1 cos alpha 1 minus u. Since we know already alpha 1 is equal to beta 2 and v1 is equal to vr2. I told you earlier that in reaction turbine inner angles are equal. This is v1 alpha 1 and this is beta 1. This is beta 2 and this is alpha 1. So inner angles, that is alpha 1 is equal to beta 2. Alpha 1 is equal to beta 2, and similarly their velocities are also equal. So v1 is equal to vr2, and henceforth we can write this whole like this. So u 2 v1 cos alpha 1, this is equal to this one now. So it comes as 2 v1 cos alpha 1 and this u as it is. So this whole can be written as a 2 u under 2 v1 cos alpha 1 minus u and divided by this total energy supplied. So total energy supplied here, right? So this is numerator part and this is denominator part. This is work done, produced, and this is energy supplied. So let us simplify this one by dividing by v1 square in numerator part as well as the denominator part. So with this division, let's say u upon v1, and he also divided by v1, he also divided by v1. So u by v1, this v1 divided by v1 cancelled, u upon v1, he also v1 square by v1, v1 square by v1 square again. So it comes 1 u square by u square divided by v1 square plus 2 u v1 cos alpha 1. So as we know, blade speed ratio, this is again very important parameter like in impulse turbine, that is your u upon v1. So let us apply this one to diagram efficiency. So this is diagram efficiency, will apply rho is equal to u upon v1 everywhere. Alright, so 1 minus rho square. Yes, here there is a missing u upon v1. This is square, na? this is U square in denominator part, so here also it will come as a U upon V1 square, U upon V1 square. So henceforth it comes as a rho square 2 rho cos alpha 1. Right, so let us simplify now in this way, right, and then finally it comes diagram efficiency like this. So dear students, please remember this is diagram efficiency of a reaction turbine. So important parameters till now, that is in impulse also we got diagram efficiency or blade efficiency in terms of blade speed ratio, right. Here in reaction turbine it comes like this. Now watch in this whole equation, if once nozzle is inclined at a particular angle alpha 1, that value alpha 1 is fixed. This rho is ratio of U upon V1. Both are variable U and V1. It means rho is a variable quantity, and henceforth for getting maximum efficiency, this diagram efficiency is differentiated with respect to blade speed ratio. So it is differentiated and maximized to 0. So in this way we get value of rho that is equal to cos alpha 1, it comes as a U upon V1. So dear students, if you remember in impulse turbine this rho was coming cos square alpha 1 by 2, and here it is cos alpha 1. Now putting this value over here, we can get maximum blade efficiency like this. So this equation is summarized like this. So the final one we are getting like this. Now let us summarize all three efficiencies with respect to blade speed ratio and efficiency. In impulse turbine, we have seen this is about your simple impulse turbine, that is for D level turbine. Rho was coming cos alpha 1 upon 2. This is rho for impulse turbine to get maximum blade efficiency, that is your cos square alpha 1 by 2. Now in reaction turbine, when blade speed ratio reaches to this value, rho reaches to this value, that is your cos alpha 1, we get maximum value of efficiency, that is this much. So we can say that reaction turbine is more efficient than an simple impulse turbine. Reason is that in reaction turbine number of stages are more compared to simple impulse turbine. Reason that is, in simple impulse turbine we saw enthalpy drop takes place in nozzle only, whereas in reaction turbine enthalpy drop takes place in both simple fixed blade as well as guide blade, or fixed blade or guide blade, and moving blade, since enthalpy drop takes place in both due to decreasing passage area between two consecutive blades. So dear students, must remember reaction turbines are more efficient. Now degree of reaction we have seen earlier. Question arises, why this degree of reaction is not coming in impulse turbine. So answer is, since blade profile in simple impulse turbine is arranged in such a way that is area between two consecutive blades remain same, henceforth there is no any pressure drop, and henceforth no any disturbing force, no any reactive force. Whereas in reaction turbine, always passage area between two consecutive blades in the direction of flow keeps on decreasing, and henceforth a reactive force comes in picture. Now, 50% we have seen earlier, 50% of degree of reaction comes for a Parsons turbine. We call it Parsons turbine. When this value goes to 100%, that is called, example is your Hero turbine. Hero turbine. Simple 50% reaction turbine is your Parsons turbine. So 100% reaction which it is called Hero turbine. Now let us move to blade height of reaction turbine. Yes. So blade height of reaction turbine, first we should calculate volume flow. So volume flow between two consecutive blades, first we should get area and then velocity. You know already, that is rho A and V. Right, this is discharge one. Right, this rho is constant, so henceforth area and velocity we have considered now. This area that is in between two consecutive blades over here. So this area for this whole wheel we can say pi into d, whereas d is main diameter. Main diameter we have taken pi d minus nt. This n is number of blades. These are the blades. So how many blades are arranged over here? This is n, and what is the thickness at the inlet? Thickness at the inlet, right? So pi d minus nt1. This is a total flow area between two consecutive blades. This one. This area actually is this much at the inlet. Similarly at the outlet, right? And then multiplied by height of the blade at the inlet and height of the blade at the outlet, right? And since Vf1 for velocity, written Vf1 because you know Vf1 is called velocity of flow that allows to allow it to go out for that steam. So Vf1 at the inlet and Vf2 at the outlet. Right, now if thickness is neglected, so we can see T1 is equal to T2, that is T, and we have seen already in reaction turbine Vf1 is equal to Vf2, that is your Vf, right? And considering H1 is equal to H2, average value let us say H, height of the blade. So we can write ms into V, that is flow rate, pi d minus nt into H, and then velocity of flow, right? Now this pitch P we can calculate like this: total perimeter divided by number of blades. So this equation reduces to n p minus t into h, right? Now you have seen already that this thickness of blade is very less compared to perimeter. Thickness of blade is very less compared to perimeter. Like say this is your perimeter total, and this thickness of blade so less, and henceforth we can neglect this thickness in comparison with this P, and henceforth this total equation reduces to NP and then H and then VF. This T is neglected over here, and this becomes pi d h VF, pi d h and VF for a single blade. So written here pi d h VF, right? So dear students, please remember this equation will help you to calculate blade height h, and if numericals are given based on reaction turbine, always pressure value will be given to you, pressure of steam, let us say at 5 bar. So at 5 bar we have to see about a specific volume, mass flow rate will be given, and if anyhow VF is calculated, number of nozzles calculated, you can calculate. So dear students, let us come to summary part of this whole steam turbine. So this already given steam turbine is a prime mover that converts stored mechanical energy in a fluid rotational mechanical energy. Always rotational devices are having more efficiency than reciprocating one like steam engine. There are several types of turbines including steam turbine, gas turbine, water turbines and wind turbines. Wind turbines, steam turbines are classified like this: compounding of steam turbine taking place only and only in impulse turbine. As such, no compounding in reaction turbine because already number of stages are more in reaction turbine. Tangential force acting on the wheel of turbine already given earlier. Power developed divided by 1000, so we can get into kilowatt. This is very important parameter for efficiency, stage efficiency, and then stage efficiency if it is given in terms of nozzle efficiency. This nozzle efficiency will be given separately, otherwise you can calculate. Axial thrust in terms of Newton, energy loss due to friction, blade speed ratio for maximum, that is in impulse turbine, maximum blade efficiency condition already given. Now move to this one. This part should be remembered for reaction turbine. This is the condition. Yes, this also important. In impulse turbine, we write VR2 is equal to K times VR1. Always VR2 is less than VR1, whereas in reaction turbine, VR2 is greater than VR1. So please remember, in reaction turbine, VR2 is greater than VR1. Right? Now, dear students, I will be moving to numerical part for starting with reaction turbine first.